to roll out, the shoulders to open up, the front of the chest to relax. If I'm seated up, see if I can try and sit as straight, as lifted as possible. So trying to encourage space at the bottom, encourage space into the belly to allow the breath to happen easily through the diaphragm. So also I'm not forced with breathing with my neck muscles. So finding a comfortable position, and the same as usual, just doing a little scan, a quick scan on how the body feels at the moment. So do I feel more pressure on one side than the other? Do I feel I'm leaning to one side? Do I feel I'm slightly rotated? Is there pain or discomfort anywhere? I'm not changing anything, just noticing where the body is and how it feels at the moment. And then start noticing the breath too. So feeling on the inhalation, feeling the belly expanding out as the diaphragm descends into the belly. On the exhalation, I'm just going to let myself relax. So finding that relaxed breath, encouraging the body to drop with the breath. And then once that you feel a little bit more settled, I feel a little bit more relaxed, I'm just going to start working from the neck down. I'm going to start turning the head gently from side to side, encouraging a nice easy rotation. Testing the right, testing the left. Noticing which direction feels easier, which direction feels maybe a little bit more restricted. Just making sure that I'm not forcing the movement, so I don't want to cause pain. And then as you keep the rotation going, see if you can start encouraging a little bit more traction down the side of the neck. So as I tend to look over the right shoulder, I'm going to push the left shoulder back and down slightly. See if I can create a nice stretch coming down the side of the neck. As I look over the left shoulder, I'm going to push back and drop down the right shoulder. See if I can create the stretch down the other side. So I'm going to try and lengthen and stretch one way, come back, lengthen and stretch the other way, and come back. And then just a small movement through the chin as you're turning. See if you can maybe find a better angle for the head that gives you a better stretch down the side. 4, 3, 2, 1. And release it back, returning the head back to the middle. From rotation, I'm going to go into a little lateral flexion. So dropping one ear down to the shoulder and then going the other way. So nice and easy side to side. Again, making sure that there is no pain and then there is no referred pain into the arms. So there is no tingling into the fingertips, so there is no shooting pain down the arms. Again, comparing right and left side. Notice if maybe as my head drops down to the shoulder, the shoulder tends to hitch up to the head. See if I can keep it down, see if I can keep it relaxed. And then same as I did for the rotation, if I feel comfortable enough and I feel that I can add a little bit more traction, then this time as the right ear drops down to the right shoulder, I'm going to depress the left shoulder. So I'm going to press it down, trying to create a little bit more stretch down the left side of the neck. Then easing back to the center, and then left ear to the left shoulder, depressing the right side. Easing back, and then on the other way again. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And easing back to the middle. Bring the head back to the middle. And then from lateral flexion, I'm just going to move into a little flexion extension. So it's getting into a little skull rocker. So if I'm seated up, imagine to be sitting with your back against the wall, the head against the wall. I'm going to push the chin into the back of the throat. I'm trying to give myself a double chin. So see if I can create that lift into the base of the skull, that nice stretch into the back of the neck. And then I'm going to reverse. I'm going to lift the chin up. I'm going to look forward. I'm going to look up. I'm going to look back. See if I can create a nice stretch down the front of the throat. And then I'm going to go back into the little double chin. And then lift up and see if I can open up, especially in extension as you're looking up and behind, the same as you did for the arms, and making sure that there is no pain into the neck and then no referred pain down the arms. There's no tingling, nothing seems to be catching. If I'm lying down, same as usual, I'm just going to push the chin into the back of the throat, and then I'm going to try and lift away. And then as you feel that the movement is a little bit easier, feels a little bit more comfortable, I might start going a little bit deeper. So if I'm lying down, I'm going to tuck the chin, and then picking up the head, I'm going to try and curl it as if I was trying to put my face flat on my chest. So I'm going to try and stretch into the back of the neck, and then easing my trying to look, and then lifting up again. If I'm seated up, I don't need it to support the head, as the head is already on top of the shoulders, it's quite supported. So I'm going to tuck the chin, and then I'm just going to try and curl the head forward, as if I was trying again to bring the face towards the chest, so lengthening the back of the neck. And then I'm going to lift and then look up and behind. Last time. And releasing back. Giving the head a gentle roll, making sure that there is no tension left into the neck. The neck feels a little bit easier to move, hopefully a little bit warmer. I'm going to move down through the thoracic into the upper back. So I'm going to start off with a little rotation. I'm going to raise the arms to the front, keeping the hands together or slightly apart. And then I'm just going to start to swing gently from side to side. If I'm seated, I'm going to take advantage of the movement, as there is no wall behind me, there is no floor behind me. I can swing and turn as far around as I want, and then I can do the same thing going the other way. If I'm lying down, obviously I'm limited because the floor is getting in the way, but I can still get a nice rotation, trying to roll myself from one shoulder over to the other, maybe adding a little pull on the top arm so that I'm creating a little bit more stretch around the back of the shoulder into the middle of the back. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, and release and back to the middle. Adjusting the position, straightening up the back. From rotation, I'm going to go into a little flexion extension. It's exactly the same as I practiced for the neck. I'm going to start extending, so pushing the chest forward. I'm going to try and extend the chest forward up and towards the ceiling if I'm lying down, towards the front of the room if I'm seated up. We'll see if I can try and create a nice lift into the back of the rib cage. Then I'm going to ease back. I'm going to push the rib cage into the ground. And then same as I did for the neck, I'm just going to try and add a little curl. See if I can just curl the head and the shoulders a little bit higher, encouraging a little flexion into the thoracic spine. And then I'm going to go back into extension again. If I'm seated, I'm going to try the same. I'm going to get into that little extension by pushing forward through the front of the chest and lifting. So trying to create that lift through the belly that is encouraging that lift at the front of the body. And then I'm just going to curl my way forward, rounding the upper back, encouraging a little bit more movement at the top of the spine. And then again, I'm going to extend, pushing the chest forward, lifting up, creating space, creating lift at the front of the body. And then reverse and see if I can try and round and open up the middle of the back. 5. Same as usual, if I'm sitting up, I can use the arms to help me pushing into the chair, pushing onto the legs to help me create a little bit more lifting extension. And then I'm just going to relax forward into that flexion. Last one. And releasing back, again, adjusting the shoulders, releasing the back, and then changing the direction of the movement. One more time, going into a little lateral flexion this time. So if I'm seated, imagine to be flexing to the side, so reaching down the side of the chair. So I'm going to drop down one side, I'm going to flex my way one way, easing back to the center, and then I'm going to flex the other way. Making sure that the seat bones stay down on the chair. I'm not picking them up, so I'm not lifting them up. If I'm laying down, I might want to support to the head, is making sure that the neck is not straining, and then reaching down one side, coming back, or swapping the arms, and then I'm going to reach down the other way. So feeling a nice tension coming down the side of the belly. Imagine your ribs at the bottom of the rib cage moving closer to the top of the hips. So I'm going to try and squeeze that distance a little bit smaller, come back to center, and then I'm going to try and squeeze the distance a little bit smaller on the other side. Especially if you're in a seated position and the back is quite stiff, remember the tendency will be to tend to lean forward. See if you can imagine your shoulders to be against the wall, and then no matter how small the movement is, see if I can keep the shoulders on the wall. So making sure that I'm not moving towards the legs, I'm just moving side, come back to center, and then side the other way. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, and releasing back. Again, releasing the shoulders, adjusting the back. It's a little bit more movement at the top. I'm going to try and see if I can get movement at the other end, so working from the hips end. So I'm just going to start off with a little hip hitch. So exactly the reverse to what you've done now. Instead of trying to take the ribs towards the hip, I'm going to try and pull the hip towards the ribs. So I'm going to try and hitch my right seat bone up, then ease back, and then the left, and then back. So if I'm seated, I'm picturing one seat bone trying to pull up and away from the chair, and then dropping back onto the chair, and then the other pulling up and then dropping down. So see if I can focus on that tension into the side of the belly again. That is helping me to close the distance between the hip and the ribs. If I'm seated up, I can use the arms again to give me a little help. So maybe pushing with the arm and then trying to pull up into the hip. Pushing down with the arm and then pulling up with the other hip. If I'm laying down, a little bit easier, as I'm working with gravity, not against the gravity, to see if I can try and gently mobilize the bottom of the spine and then still find the connection on the right and the left side of the belly. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and easing back to the middle, resetting the hips, And then from the little hip hitch, I'm just going to go into a little tilt. So I'm just going to tilt the pelvis back, pressing the lower back into the mat, and then forward back into neutral. So tilting forward and back. So rocking from the tailbone into the back of the pelvis, back into the tailbone, back into the back of the pelvis. So again, working on releasing tension, stiffness from the lower back. This time, see if I can be aware of a little tension lifting up the front of the belly. So I'm trying to pull my pubic bone towards my belly button, and then I'm just going to relax. I'm going to try and pull my pubic bone towards my belly button and then relax. If I'm seated, exactly the same. Think of a little movement, so it's nothing too big. I want to keep it at the bottom of the spine. So I'm just trying to roll back onto my tailbone, onto the back of the seat bones, and then trying to pick myself up or trying to come up onto the very tip of the seat bones, almost like forward into the pubic bone. So I'm going to tilt back and then rock it forward again. Tilt back and then rock it forward again. Think of that tension wrapping through the middle, encouraging me to lift, to offer support as I'm sitting taller, and then relaxing that tension as I roll back again. 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. And releasing back, releasing the hips, releasing the lower back, adjusting the position, and then I'm just going to start working onto the limbs. So starting from the shoulder joint first, I'm going to start shrugging the shoulders up to the head. So I'm going to start elevating the shoulders and depressing them. Then I'm going to protract them. I'm going to pull them forward. I'm going to retract them. I'm going to squeeze them back, then release, and then starting again. Elevating, pulling them up to your ears, pressing them down and away. Pushing them forward, pulling them back, and then releasing. So shrugging them up to the head, press them down and away, pull them forward, push them back, and little ease. 2 more times. So shrugging them up, press them down, pull them forward, squeeze them back, release. Last time. Shrug them up, press them down, pull them forward, push them back, and easing down. Adjusting the shoulders, there's a little bit more movement through the shoulder girdle. I'm going to start adding movement into the shoulder joint itself, so by moving the arm. So I'm just going to start with one arm at a time with a little front raise. I'm going to raise the right arm up to the front as high up as I feel comfortable going. Then easing the arm back, and then with the left arm, I'm going to do the same. So playing with the position of the arm, I might need to open the arm slightly off to the side. I might need to keep my elbow bent slightly. I might be able to lift the arm nice and straight. I'm going to do what I can, just making sure that I'm not forcing the movement, so it doesn't feel painful on the shoulder. It doesn't feel as if I'm fighting that lift, and it doesn't feel as if it's creating tension into the neck. So I'm not shrugging the shoulder up to the head, up to my ears. If I can keep the shoulder down, see if I can keep the neck nice and relaxed. And then to help the neck to relax, I'm going to start moving the head. So as the right arm comes up, I'm going to turn as if I was trying to look at the arm. Then I'm going to ease back. As the left arm comes up, I'm going to turn as if I was trying to look at the arm. Coming back, or just a little turn of the head. Just making sure that the neck is not locking, it's not stiffening, it's not tightening up. So right arm comes up, I'm going to turn to look over the right, come back. Left arm comes up, I'm going to turn to look over the left, and then coming back. Right arm, I'm going to turn right, come back, left arm, I'm going to turn left and come back 2 more times. Last one. And releasing down, giving the shoulders a little roll, readjusting the shoulders, readjusting the position of the head if you need to, and then changing the direction of the movement. I'm going to go for a little lateral raise, so scooping the arm to the side. So I'm going to start opening one arm around the side. I'm going to swing it around as if I was trying to make a big wave with that arm. And then I'm just going to come back the same way. Then with the other arm, I'm going to do the same, a big wave with that arm. And then I'm just going to ease back down. So maintaining the movement going from side to side. Keeping the little swing going through, same as you did for the front raise, making sure that you're not shrugging the shoulders, you're not stiffening through the neck. It feels loose, it feels relaxed. 4, 3, 2, last one, and releasing down, relaxing the shoulders, releasing the upper body, a little bit looser into the shoulder joint. I'm going to come down onto the wrist. So I'm going to try and see if I can mobilize the wrist a little bit more. So I'm just going to bring the palm of the hands together. If you want, you can even use the ball of the pillow between the hands. And then I'm just going to push the palms together, and then I'm going to try and lift the elbows up as high as I can. So what I want is to create extension into the wrist. So as if I was trying to bring the back of my hand onto the front of the forearm. So I'm going to try and lift the elbows up as high as I can, and then I'm just going to drop them down. So I'm going to push the hands together, trying to pull up on the elbows, and then easing back. So creating a gentle stretch, making sure that it's not causing pain, and then just watching the position of the hands. As if one wrist is stiffer than the other, the tendency will be for one arm to go up, or the other one to kind of like stay down. So see if I can try and lift them both the same amount, and then releasing back. 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back, giving the wrist a little roll, making sure that it doesn't feel too stiff, it doesn't feel too tight. And then I'm going to open it the other way. This time, one hand at a time. So I'm going to rest the left hand onto the back of the right, so that I'm able to pull downwards this time. I'm going to start to pushing the right arm away, and at the same time with the left hand, I'm going to pull down on the right. So this time, see if I can try and open up the back of the wrist, so getting the flexion going through the wrist joint. Then I'm going to ease the pressure. I'm going to switch side. I'm going to try and extend it through the left arm, pulling down gently on the hand, then easing back, and then swapping over. Release, and then swapping again. So again, noticing the difference between the right and the left side. One side might be feeling a little bit easier to move than the other. Just making sure that nothing, again, is causing pain into the wrist. 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back. Same as before, giving the wrist a little roll, releasing through the wrist. This is a little bit more movement into the wrist joint. I'm going to focus on the legs at this time, trying to work into the hip. I'm going to start off trying to get a little activation into the muscles. So see if I can find the connection first. So I'm going to use the ball between the knees and the pillow, or same as usual, if I don't have anything, I can just put my hands, a closed fist between the inner thigh, one or both. And then I'm going to focus on squeezing in. So I'm going to maybe walk the feet a little bit closer together. And then I'm going to try and press the knees together. Then easing that pressure. And then I'm going to press them again. Easing the pressure. And then pressing again. As you keep the pressure going on and off, see if you can be aware of the tension coming through the inner thigh, the inside of the leg, all the way up into the hip, all the way into the groin. And then same as I did for the arms, just to check that both legs are trying to squeeze in the same amount. As again, if one leg doesn't respond as well as the other, the tendency will be for one side to do all the work. So my right leg will be pushing in, my left leg will just stay there. So see if I can try and find a nice connection between the two. I can even use my hands to encourage, to almost like guide that legs in the right direction. And then I'm just going to ease that tension again. So as I feel I've got a little bit more control, the movement feels a little bit more even, then I'm going to squeeze into the ball, squeeze into the pillow, and then I'm going to hold the tension this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, squeeze a little bit harder. 6, 7, 8, 9, squeeze a little bit harder. 10, and then I'm just going to ease that tension. I'm going to try again. Squeezing into the ball, squeezing in, holding that tension. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, squeezing a little bit harder. 6, 7, 8, squeezing a little bit more. 9, 10, and release. Last time, squeezing into the ball. Hold that tension. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and release. Giving the legs a little shake, relaxing the hip, releasing the inner thigh. I'm going to switch the effort from the inside of the leg. I'm going to move into the side of the leg. If you're seated, I wanted to use the band, or you can use the hand against the leg. It doesn't matter. If you're laying down, I want you to roll over onto your side, setting yourself into clamp. So if you're using the band, I'm going to tie the band around the knees, making sure that it's reasonably tight, not digging, but reasonably tight, so it doesn't come undone, it doesn't come too loose. I'm going to use a little bow or a little knot to keep it in place so that it's not going to come undone. And then decide which leg you're going to be going first. I'm going to go with my right leg. So I'm going to keep the left leg still. And then with the right leg, I'm going to try and push out into the band. Then easing back. And then again, I'm going to try and push out into the band and then coming back. Same as I did for the squeeze in. This time I'm focusing on one leg, repeating on the same side. So I might need to use my hand to help me guide that leg in the right direction. So I'm just going to push it out gently, and then I'm going to slowly come back in again. So see if you can think of the tension coming from the side of the hip or from the side of the bum this time. If I'm down into clamp, same as usual, making sure that the legs are bent, there's one on top of the other. I'm going to press the heels of the feet together and then see if I can get the top leg to start lifting and rotating. So trying to get into the side of the hip, into the side of the bum to get the leg to lift. The back is relaxed, the rib cage is soft, the belly connected at the top. 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one, I want to hold the tension out
for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, squeeze a little bit harder, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release and down. Relaxing the hip, giving the hip a little tap, relaxing the hip, releasing the leg. I'm going to try exactly the same thing to the other side. So if you're lying down, I want you to roll over onto the other side, setting yourself in the same position on the other leg. If you're seated up, I'm just going to keep in the same position, but this time I'll be holding the other leg nice and still and then trying to open up with the other side. So this time I'm going to work on my left leg. So I'm going to push out with the left and then I'm going to ease my way back. Again, if I need a little help, I'm going to use my hand to help me move the leg. And then I'm just going to control it back. So it could be a very little movement. It doesn't really matter the size of the movement. See if I can try and think of the connection coming from the side of the hip or from the side of the bum. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. Last one, I'm going to hold it out for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, squeezing a little bit harder, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back, relaxing the hip, releasing the leg, and doing the band, pushing the band to one side. If you're using the band, and then I'm going to reverse the effort. So I've done in and out. This time I'm going to try and see if I can do up and down. So I'm going to start with the up first. So I'm going to put both hands on top of the right thigh or left thigh, doesn't matter which one. Same as before, especially if you're lying down. If you find that to get your hands onto the leg is just too far, so you've got to strain your neck, strain the arms. I'm just going to put the ball between the thigh and the hands. And then from there, what I want is to push the thigh up into my hands. So I'm going to try and see if I can get the foot to lift away. And then I'm just going to ease back. So I'm going to push the thigh into the hands and ease back. So see if you can allow the front of the hip to kind of like bite. So what I want is to create a little tension, feeling the muscles at the front of the hip tensing to create that little resistance, that little lift. So it doesn't need to become up very high. What I want is just to be able to feel that connection into the front of the hip every time that I do so. It's exactly the same if I'm lying down. I'm just going to try and push the leg against the arm. So I might just lock the arm, putting the hand onto the front of the thigh, and then with the leg trying to push up against the resistance of the arm. 5. 4. 3. 2. And then last one, I'm going to hold the pressure. See if you can focus on the tension at the front of the hip, but also a nice gentle tension into the side, into the front of the belly. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Relaxing the hip, relaxing the leg. I'm going to try the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to switch the hand to the other side using the, again, the pillow, the ball, if I need a little raise, a little gap, filling something. And then I'm just going to start pushing the thigh against the hand. Then ease the pressure, and then again, push and relax. The same as on the other side. See if I can try and find the tension right into the front of the hip. So see if I can feel those muscles gripping, stiffening up to create that little resistance. And at the same time, see if I can also be aware of the little tension into the side, the front of the belly at the same time. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1. Hold the pressure. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Relaxing the hip, releasing the leg. This is a little bit more connection to the front, and then I'm going to finish off with the back of the hip. So if I'm laying down, I'm just going to keep focus on one leg at the time. I'm going to push down through the right foot as if I was trying to lift my bum off the ground using just the right foot. Then I'm going to release. I'm going to push down on the left as if I was trying to lift my bum off the ground, just using that left foot, and then release. So see if you can find the connection into the back of the leg, into the back of the bum. If I'm seated up, same as usual, I'm just going to lean forward slightly and then pushing down through the right leg as if I was trying to stand on my right leg. Then easing back and then leaning forward again, pushing down through that left foot as if I was trying to stand on that left leg, and then coming back. Just trying to load the right, feeling the back of the right leg connecting, easing back, pushing down through the left, loading that left leg. See if I can find the connection on the other side. 10. 9. 8. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. Last one, and easing back. I feel a little bit more connected. This time I'm going to lean forward and then pushing down into both feet. Imagine to be lifting yourself up and off the chair.
If I'm lying down, I'm going to come up into bridge. So pushing down through the soles of the feet to see if I can get the hips, to see if I can get the bum to lift. And then I'm just going to ease back down again. So I'm going to push down through the feet to see if I can try and come up slightly and then popping back down again. Using the arms to help me control the movement so I feel a little bit safer. If I'm sitting up, trying to see if I can squeeze my way up into a bigger lift if I'm laying down. 3, 2, last one. And releasing back, giving the legs a little shake, giving the legs a little roll, making sure that the back of the leg doesn't feel too stiff, too tight. Then if you're lying down, rolling over onto the side and in your own time, pushing yourself up into sitting, finding your comfortable seated position, using the arms to support you if you need that support, leaning against something if you feel that you can't sit up very straight, it doesn't feel very comfortable. But then once that you feel that the hips are settled, so I feel I can sit here for a little while, then see if I can try and create a nice lift at the front. So I'm going to try and push the chest forward, extending my way up, looking forward, looking up, looking back, and see if I can create that nice lift. And then coming forward, rolling down, letting the chin drop down to the chest, and the shoulders come forward, rolling down and towards the ground. And curling back, lifting up, pushing the chest forward, lifting up through the chin, looking forward, looking up, looking back. And release, coming forward again. Letting the chin drop down, the shoulders come forward, rounding and opening into the back. Last time, extending up, forward with the chest, extending and lifting as much as I can, looking forward, looking up, looking back. And then release and forward. One hand to the belly, one hand to the back. Take your bow. Give yourself a clap for that. Any question or anything as usual, please say.